You just start recording. Yeah, we'll just figure it out. Like, why bother preparing? It's more fun this way.
Yeah. So I got a new mic,
Mm,
but it's a mic.
I did too.
Yours sounds incredible, and you don't have to do what I'm doing. This is
No.
heavy. This is not. This is a beast.
What'd you end up getting?
A blue Yeti.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think it was like 130 bucks.
Yeah.
Like that.
I got myself the blue Yeti as well, but I got let's see if I can. Hang on. This is probably gonna fuck up my whole sound system, but I don't know, like a little boom arm thing.
Yeah, see, that's what I need. I need the boom arm. I didn't prepare for that. So when I first came on, I was like, "Hey, how do I sound, Nick?" He's like, "You sound awful." I was like, "How about now?"
Yeah,
it sounds way better.
Sounds way better.
So the mic's good.
Yeah, it sounds great. Now that you got it close to yourself. Yeah, it sounds fantastic.
And you can't see it, but I also bought myself another. I have one at the office, but another 49-inch monitor for my house.
Ooh,
and it is
fancy,
awesome.
49-inch monitors are nice.
It was a deal I couldn't pass up. Best Buy said they couldn't move it, meaning they couldn't sell it. And
right, yeah.
It was $1,100 like retail, like new. It was on open box sale for $850. They said they couldn't move it, and I said I will give you $700 right now.
Nice.
And I did it. So
you have now a 3-monitor setup?
So my desk is not actually it can barely hold the one.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
And then I've got another one that I'm gonna pretty much jerry rig up there. But that'll be my gaming one, and this one is just because it looks cool.
Good enough. That's all the reason you need, right?
Yeah. But lots transpired in the last couple weeks or a week or so since we've recorded.
I think it must have been. We skipped last week because I went out of town.
You went to New York, right?
I went to New York. Yeah, I went to New York. It was so my birthday is at the end of the month, and my anniversary was on the 16th, which was a couple days ago. And so my wife and I usually do, rather than doing something for each, we usually do kind of one sort of bigger thing to do both, because I don't need stuff, so I'd rather spend a little extra money and like go do something than
eventually when you work in insurance long enough, if you want things, you can just go buy them.
Just go get something. Like, it's actually a really hard problem. My mom was like, what do I get you for your birthday? And I was like, I don't know. I don't need anything. Like, I don't need anything. I don't want you to spend anything that's as expensive as I wouldn't buy it for myself. Like, exactly. I don't want my mom spending the kind of money that I would not spend on myself for me.
Yeah.
So like, I have no idea.
Yeah. But it's kind of tough to talk about the subject. I guess it's kind of why we're dancing around it.
Yeah, we keep avoiding it.
Yeah, but if you're watching this, you've probably heard the news by now. But Ryan Saridakis, who was the creator of Tips, Tricks, and Closers Insurance Group, and Tips, Tricks, and Closers, the Facebook lead vendor.
Yeah, TTC. I wonder if people even know that TTC leads means Tips, Tricks, and Closers. Like because I know so many people use TTC leads, and I don't know that they all know about the Facebook group or that it came first.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
That's the history. I mean, the TTC group was around for almost like a solid year before he started making leads.
Yeah.
Like the leads thing just sort of, I don't think was the end game. Like that was not his original plan with the group. I think he just kind of made the group and then was sort of like, we'll see what comes out of this.
Yeah, I can tell you from experience, becoming a lead vendor almost comes out of necessity, in a way.
Yeah.
But he passed suddenly about a week ago. They just had the funeral yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
I was unable to attend because I was at a Medicare kickoff event in Philly. Actually, I was going to go see. And I did not let Nick know.
Didn't give me enough lead time. He told me like 10 minutes after his plane landed.
Yeah,
he was like, hey, I'm here now. I was like, well, I've got plans for today, but can you meet tomorrow? And he's like, no, I'm leaving tomorrow. And I'm like, well, this does me no good.
Yeah, no. It you know, improper planning. My dog is going bananas. Mojito. I'm terribly sorry. This
Yeah,
is
no
awful.
problem.
Hey,
We can edit this stuff out. We got an editor again.
yeah, kind of. If he'll do some damn work,
We might
Marcus.
have an editor again. Who knows?
I'm watching you, Marcus. But but he was a friend of the show.
He was always very supportive.
All very supportive.
We tried to have him on a couple of times, and just scheduling wise, we could never get all of our schedules to
never quite made it. There's my wife. We can edit this out too. Shit, come on in. I know he was being extremely loud. Mo, get out of here. Sorry, buddy.
That's okay. Dogs, man.
Yeah,
I've had my dogs and cats in the background of so many of our videos.
That's true. Maybe we'll leave it in.
Who knows? That'll be up to you guys.
Marcus. Yeah. But he's a friend of the show, very supportive.
Mm-hmm.
Good friend of mine. Actually, it's kind of it's interesting. He was a competitor, right, in the lead generation business, but we never really saw it that way. For me and him, it was more of we were both going through the same things of dealing with people buying our leads, complaining about leads. How do you deal with this type of person? How do you do this? How do you grow that? And he had taught me a lot of stuff that I wish I'd known. So it was really good conversation. So we're, I can personally say that I'm, very, I don't know what the word is. I'm usually really good with words, but it sucks.
It's shocking because he was young and apparently died like very unexpectedly of like a very fast moving illness. And I don't want to like spread details about his life, but like it was one of those things where like nobody had any time because it just happened very fast.
Yeah.
And so it's really sad. He did a lot to create a community space on Facebook for life and health insurance agents that really didn't exist before he did it. There was some space for like P&C agents and stuff before him, but it didn't really exist for like not
the way it was, because not many people knew about the insurance forums or even use the insurance forums, right?
Well, yeah, I mean the insurance forums, the insurance forums are kind of their own thing, and they were very big and very popular until like forums just sort of died out. And like the idea of going to a bulletin board forum is sort of a weird concept now. Nobody does that anymore. And there were a couple of other Facebook groups that were around before TTC, including the one that you and I met in, but they were not big. They were several hundred people. And his ability to create a culture in that group was unique, and he created a culture, and he created something that spawned a lot of imitators, and other groups spawned from that. He wasn't the first, but he was the one that kind of made it work.
Set the tone.
Yeah, he made it work. Yeah, he really set the standard. You're right. Yeah, and
which brought a lot of I think good transparency to the marketplace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people didn't know what was out there as far as comp.
Yeah.
As other opportunities.
Absolutely.
And Facebook groups are good for that. It's
there's good and bad with all of them, but like
sure.
But I feel like with any of these groups, and I don't want to make this all about TTC, because it's just too sad to just talk about Ryan the entire time, and I don't think anybody wants to see that. But with any of these groups, there's going to be a signal to noise problem once there's a lot of people in there, because people are going to start using the groups inappropriately,
Sure.
and not for what they're designed for, and to recruit and to spout off about things that they don't really know what they're talking about, and then all sorts of stuff. The nice thing about TTC and any of the Facebook groups, well, a lot of the Facebook groups, is the downside of a place like the insurance forums is that it's anonymous. So for most of the beginning of the internet, like anonymity, in places like Reddit and most bulletin boards, like being able to be anonymous, Twitter, was really, really like foundational and was critical. But when you're talking about insurance stuff and you're trying to get advice from people and you don't have the ability to have any idea who these people are, they're just an avatar and like a username. You don't know where you're getting that information from. And the thing that was so different about TTC was it was the first time where when somebody was speaking, they were kind of putting their money where their mouth is, because you could very easily go look them up and find out who they really were and what they were really doing.
Yeah.
And whether they were, blowing smoke, or if they were actually a criminal, which it turned out a couple of these people were, or what was going on. And you had that ability, if you were interested, to vet the advice that you were being given. And I think, I'm gonna like agencies like Family First Life. I don't know that they would exist the way they exist now if it wasn't for places like TTC. Your agency group, I don't know if it would exist the way that it exists now if it wasn't for places like TTC. A lot of different types of agencies, for better and for worse, but just different types of agencies and IMOs sprung up and took advantage of this new, again, not new platform, but this new utilization of the platform. This new way to approach the platform, right?
I was hired, by Innovative Financial Group for a multitude of reasons, but one is they really liked my online social media presence and what I did in the groups, because I would just go out there and tell people what I knew how to do and what I've done, and I didn't ask anything for it.
Right.
I didn't say buy this from me. I didn't say you got to come work with me or anything. And when they saw that trend happening, they wanted to align themselves with people like me, who were doing that and continue to grow their brand. And so it worked, but that wouldn't have been possible without TTC. And also, Ryan should be proud, and I know he is, and his family should be proud, because he helped feed thousands of people with leads, right? So leads
absolutely
are quintessential to running a final expense, which is mostly what he sold, to run final expense. And during the times when people couldn't pay for fresh direct mail, which you should be able to, which we'll talk a little bit about now, but people would buy his leads all the time. And those leads people would make sales off of, and to feed their families.
Absolutely.
Essentially, from that, he was able to feed thousands of people. So his family and himself should be very proud of that. So,
and he was one of a very small handful of lead vendors who was operating in that internet Facebook lead space, who you could believe was actually being honest and actually like providing a high quality product.
I can tell you the one reason that I liked him more is because if there's no face behind the company, you're who the hell's Grammy leads,
right?
Who the hell's Bang Bang leads? Whenever you ask who the owner of that is, it's you have no idea. And he said, this is me, this is what I've done, this is what it. So that to me says a lot about a lead company. And so that's one of the reasons I think it was probably one of the most successful Facebook vendors there is.
And the honesty and transparency as a lead vendor was, and still is, honestly fairly unique outside of the direct mail. I mean, even a lot of these direct mail houses are pretty inscrutable, but it was really, it was a really unique situation where he was a person who knew what he was doing and knew how to generate a lead, and if you talked to him about like why he was doing what he was doing and what could he do for you and what could he do things differently, he'd be very honest about like, yes, I can do these things. No, I can't do these things. Here's why, here's why I can't run leads for you in a 10-mile radius instead of a 50-mile radius, and he would tell you, and some of it was because of bottom line, it didn't make sense for him. And that's okay. But he would be honest about it. He'd be like, I can't make any money on it if I'm doing it this way because it's too much man hours or it's too many whatever.
Yeah.
And he was very honest about it. And so he beyond the community he created, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to TTC. I know they're saying they're going to keep it running. I know they've got infrastructure in place. I'm not privy to any of that kind of stuff, but I really do hope, more than anything, that the lead house that he built continues and continues to operate the way that he was operating it, because that was a really unique thing. And especially with the changing landscape of Facebook advertising and leads and everything, it's so important to have people that are honest and trustworthy.
Yeah, I agree. So, Ryan, we love you, buddy.
Yeah.
Rest well.
And like, I don't know. I don't know if they're doing donations to the family or anything like that, but but I don't know. My heart goes out to his family and his kid, and like, he was a young guy. He was 35, 36, like really
really young.
So that's sort of the sad part of this out of the way. I don't know. Do you want to talk about anything else?
Buy direct mail.
Sure. Yeah. Buy direct mail. That being said, TTC, great Facebook lead. Don't buy Facebook leads. Facebook leads are not where it's at the moment. No, they're not Facebook leads, but unfortunately, Facebook leads are really not where it's at.
Okay. So, well, I don't want to talk about that. I was going to talk more about the CMS ruling that's supposed to go into effect.
You want to
talk?
We can, but
not really. I want to talk about final expense because I like final expense.
Yeah. All right. I was going to say that's a little outside of our wheelhouse. I'm happy to talk about it, but it's
it's a lot of what I do right now. So it's
yeah.
I kind of want to talk about anything but that.
Jesus. Yeah.
But
interesting time to be selling Medicare, guys, especially if you're selling Medicare by phone.
Yeah.
Whew.
I heard
new world.
I heard that some companies were going to try to go to, you get a field agent contract, you got a telesales contract.
Yeah.
And you got to be on one or the other. Right. And then they were like, well, we can make a virtual a third. And I said, wouldn't just everybody put themselves as virtual?
Yeah.
And then not have to worry about whatever. So there's a lot of moving parts in the Medicare world currently.
Well, and nothing is settled. This is what I keep telling the agents that I'm working with is nothing is settled. This is not the right time to be talking about it because stuff is still under the target.
It's not at all. But what I can tell you right now, if you're a Medicare agent, there's no better time to sell final expense than right now.
Oh yeah,
because you're not going for the MAPD sales that you make during open enrollment. You're not going to get a dime of it until January, and you need to have cushion.
Yes, for sure.
And you can go make right now before this gets out, before October 15th when it starts, you can make in your pocket profit to tide you over. You can have $20,000-$30,000 in your account from the work that you do starting today. Selling final expense.
Like even if you sold something now starting for September 1st, you're going to lose 8 months of your commission on that.
Yeah.
So you're gonna lose like $191, $192 of the $287.
Right. It's very hard to be profitable.
You're making like $95, right?
Yeah.
On a September 1st starting policy, you're making like $95. Like it's tough. Now like cross-selling, getting final expense. I mean, not cross-selling. Cross-selling is illegal. Don't cross-sell. But but selling final expense to either fresh leads or to your Medicare book of business or whatever. That's I was just talking to somebody on Facebook about this earlier today. Like, it is possible to go and without too much work on your part, write 5 apps in final expense in the course of a week and have walked away with $5,000 in profit in your pocket. Like that's not a difficult thing to do.
It's
after
not
lead costs. After lead costs.
It's not even. You could stumble across 5 sales
Easily.
Like it's
if you're on street level contracts, you 5 sales, you're averaging $65 a month per sale. You're let's say you only write $4,000 in annual premium and you're on only 100% contract. So maybe you only made $3,000 then.
Right.
Right.
That's $3,000. A lot of money.
Right.
But more importantly is some people that may be watching this may be interested in final expense, but they have no idea.
Yeah. It's common.
How to even sell it. And, a lot of times, Nick and I have talked about, you need a system, you need to have not a script, but you got to have a track that you're going to follow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Like you got to know what you're doing. And I think it's important for those that may not know exactly how to sell a final expense policy. I'll give you the skinny. Bring up the problem, right? What are you trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to take care of my final expenses. Okay. What do you have in place now? Are you doing anything for it currently?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nope.
Or I have something, right? But
yeah, maybe.
But the majority of times I have nothing.
Yeah.
A lot of times I have nothing. You stop, you look at them and go, well, what's the plan? What were you planning on doing before I got here? And they go, I don't know. Like,
I've been looking for something.
Okay. Yeah. Now you've got them. Yeah. Right.
Say it all the time. You'll hear it constantly. I've been looking for something. I've been thinking about that.
I've been thinking about it. I just haven't done anything with it.
Yeah. Haven't figured out how to,
okay.
Haven't figured the right thing. It's too expensive.
Bring up the problem again. Okay. Make them live it. Have you recently seen anybody go through a funeral or a cremation service where they didn't have anything in place?
Yeah, sure.
Of course. Right.
Yeah.
They've seen people die more than they can, than they want to. What was that like? What do you think it was like for that family? It was probably awful. And that's probably why you want to sit down and talk with me and you're trying to figure out what you can actually afford. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Now we're getting into price. Okay. How do you plan on paying for it? Do you have cash laying around, like $10,000, $15,000 that you want to put aside to this thing?
I don't know who has $10,000, $15,000 sitting around.
Ms. Jones, I don't have $10,000, $15,000 laying around. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
But most people in their checking account have anywhere between $1,000, $2,000. I don't know about you. And most of the time when I sit down with somebody, they're usually comfortable spending between $100 to $200 a month.
Yeah.
And then you get real quiet. You get real quiet because they might just say that.
Yeah, I could do that. I would say you gave them too large of a window even. You need to give them a narrower window than $100 to $200. Because if they say yes, then now you need to figure out, well, shoot, is it 100 or is it 150?
Yeah. But I got them committed to that.
Yeah.
Right. And then, okay, we know that they got money. We know that they're willing to spend money and they know why they want to spend money.
Yep.
Now we just have to figure out underwriting. Miss Jones, normally I'll never ask a lady for her height and weight. But today, because
you're so folksy.
That's how I do it.
No, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just funny to me. That is so very not that is so very not how I approach things.
I know, but it works for me.
It does, absolutely.
It's my presence, and
sure.
And they have the same, comedic. They're like, I know, and I'm like, look, I gotta ask. It's one of the things I got to do.
Yeah,
because I'm gonna do underwriting right here. No one's gonna prod you. No one's gonna poke you. You got to go to the bathroom in a cup. Me and you're gonna sit and talk. I'm not the police officer. Okay. So don't tell me about anything crazy that I don't need to know about. I'm going to ask you these questions. And if you can answer these truthfully, and I might need to do a phone interview. Once we get done with that, you'll have insurance and you'll never have to worry about this again.
How much do I need to give you right now?
None.
What? I don't have to give you anything?
Nothing.
How do you do that?
But what I will need is your medications and your checkbook. So go grab those for me.
Okay.
Do you see how I didn't say go grab one thing and then come back, then go grab another? And I just said it nonchalantly. I did not say, hey, do you think you can go grab your checkbook? It's telling somebody what to do. And it just works. I don't really know why, but it just works. I don't know the science behind it, but asking for most agents get stuck at that part.
Yeah.
In socials, they get really weird about socials.
Oh God. So, and the thing is, if you're weird about it, if you feel weird about it,
that's what I'm saying.
If you feel weird about it, it's going to make them feel weird about it.
Yes.
Right. Like, so Ramiz Hakim, I don't know if he still watches the show. He used to, but he's busy doing other stuff. He founded, along with his family, in North Star Insurance Services, which is a big telemarketing insurance service firm. But he was talking to me one time about how he tells his agents to ask for social security numbers. And he this might have been on one of our videos. I don't remember.
I don't know.
But he was like, so here's the thing. You can't make a big deal about it, right? So you don't ask for their social security number because that sounds very serious and formal. Don't ever say, what's your social security number? You're asking them a bunch of questions. Oh, do you have a middle initial? What's your birthday? Is this your right street address? Is this the best phone number to call you on? What's your social? How tall are you? And you just slip it in there with everything else. And you just say, what's your social? Just exactly like that. Low key. No production. You don't look at them. You don't make a thing about it. You say it exactly the same way you asked them how tall they were.
Mm-hmm. Head down, pen on
Head
paper.
down, writing stuff down.
Yeah. And 95% of the 90%, I'm making a weird stat. 90% of the time, you'll have no pushback.
No pushback.
None
whatsoever.
If they give you pushback, why do I need that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, to make sure I can get you insurance.
Yeah. That's how they're going to pay the claim. That's how they know it's you when you die.
Yeah. That is a unique identifier for you.
Yeah. Because otherwise somebody else is going to, how else do they know to pay out the claim? They need to identify you.
And Ramiz also had a really good way of getting bank account information, which I thought was pretty good. And again, I'm not a phone sales guy, but they would say, who do you bank with? Right. Mm-hmm. In casual conversation. Okay. I'm with Wells Fargo. They're looking up Wells Fargo on the interwebs, and you can look up the routing number.
031000503. Yeah. Not everywhere across the United States, but in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. And so when you say that, just say, hey, pull out your checkbook for me. And you just say the routing number. And then you say, can you finish the rest for me? I need the account number. I have the routing number. And just to make sure, can you follow along with me? It's what he just said.
Yeah.
And then can you continue for me? And when you say it that way, they just start reading it off with you.
And for phone sales, that stuff works really well. It's trickier, and that stuff is harder in the house because you need to get them to get their checkbook in the first place.
Yeah.
Which is still the hardest part. Mostly just because people don't know where the heck their checkbook is. Like,
so This is the trick that I use, and I use it a lot.
Mhm.
When I'm talking about checks and checkbooks, I say, hey, where's the nearest bank around here? I got to go send my dad some money after this, right? So I'm planning my exit. So my exit, because I don't want to talk for too long after. So I got, oh yeah, I got to remember I got to do that thing for my dad, right?
Okay.
So it's ejecto cedocus. But then I'll say, what bank? Then I'll say right after that, so what bank do you use? And again, and I'll say again, because I think they told me before, I use Wells Fargo. And I'll say, do they still have those silly purple checks? And nobody has silly purple checks. That's not what banks do. Okay. And it gets people, what it does is it gets people to think where the hell their checkbook is so they can visualize it in their head and go, no, they're red. They're not purple checks. Even if they had to go in their own mind and walk to their underwear drawer where they put the checks, right, that they never actually used. They went in there, they looked in their own mind, they looked at it and they went, okay, God.
Created a memory palace.
I created a memory palace. And so when I say, this is what I do. And when I say, hey, go grab your check for me, boom, memory pass right to where they get is, and they go grab it.
All right.
It works.
I'll give it a shot. Let's see.
I want you to give it a shot.
I don't know that I've ever needed. I mean, I've had people not be able to find their checkbook, but I've never felt like I needed any tricks to get them to find their checkbook. But we'll see. Maybe.
Well, I don't think it's gonna. If people don't remember where it's at, they still remember where it's at.
Right. Yeah.
But
my bigger thing is like they're just like I never got checks. I didn't even order checks. Yeah. Like who uses checks anymore? I use my debit card for everything.
And then you're doing this number, right? You're the agent in the house. You're doing like this. You're looking for the damn Wells Fargo thing.
Yeah,
Where's your mail at?
Yeah, yeah. Can I find a bank statement?
Pull that. What does that one say?
Yeah. Or more and more often, honestly, this is 5 years when we started doing this channel. I would not have said that this was true.
Online banking,
the app on their smartphone. So many of them have a smartphone and they have the app for their bank on the smartphone that they do know how to log into.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody, but a lot, like more than half. Like surprisingly, no, they will not know how to find you their bank account information.
And that's where you help them.
If they can log in and they'll hand their phone to you, you can find their bank account information.
Yes.
Very easy.
Very easy. Yeah. And because banks want, during Corona, banks didn't want people to come into the branches.
Nope.
And so they taught people more and more how to use the damn
knock-on effect of the pandemic, man. It is shocking to me how many people, when I just open up their smartphone, and everybody's got a smartphone these days. Smartphones are not a luxury item anymore.
No.
This is one of those things like I've started telling people, hey, start harvesting email addresses from people.
Yes.
And it used to be nobody had an email address. Everybody has an email address now because you have to have one if you have a smartphone, and everybody's got a smartphone. Like 1 in the last 100 people that I've seen doesn't have a smartphone anymore. And they can all receive and understand text messages. Like the way that you're going to be communicating to final expense people, especially post-COVID, has changed so dramatically.
Yeah.
Totally different ballgame than it was.
You're 100% right on emails. I can tell you. I'll show you the stat, Nick Frumpkin.
Sure.
Later, but you're just gonna have to trust me if you're watching this. But I have a thing where I email, it's CRM, go high level. And I have emailed on this one specific campaign over 10,000 senior citizens. The deliverability on the email is close to 90%.
Yeah.
Okay. The open rate, this is the important part. The open rate is damn near 50 to 55%.
No kidding. That's not, I would have not guessed that. I'd have guessed like 35% and been pretty impressed.
When I started doing it, people told me that it was going to be less than 10%.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I was definitely expecting you to be like in the 30s, and I was prepared to be impressed.
50 to 55%.
No kidding.
Whoa. Open.
That is solid.
And and here's another stat. I send out like forms and surveys to get them to collect more information about the client. You know, it's a warm up thing.
Yeah.
But 22% of people will fill out an additional form, verifying the information that you already have or updating the information that you didn't have before, and give you more information that may help you later on down the road.
That's interesting. I don't know how I would use that, but that's a good thing to know.
It would be good for you if you know, you could do it to the people you've collected email addresses on and say, hey, can you take this survey? You know, and you could ask a question like, you know, I know that you got you purchased an insurance policy from me. Do you think that you got just enough, too much,
right,
or maybe not enough? And based on those answers, you could you know,
there's so many things premium that you could do. Like I'm not a big believer in the idea that you need to have any kind of local presence on like a Google page or anything like that. But it's so easy to set up a Google business page and then just like send people an email after they've purchased something from you saying, hey, go fill out a review.
Yeah.
And just like garner like hundreds of 5-star reviews, like
hundreds.
For your Google page, like just boom, like overnight. And then if somebody's ever like, well, who the hell are you? You know, it's like, here's my Google page, you know?
Well, not just that, but you actually get calls.
I'm sure you would. Like,
you
I'm
do,
sure
like
you would.
it's actually pretty ridiculous. Vince Connell in the middle of nowhere, Georgia, is the #1 Medicare agent in the middle of nowhere, Georgia.
And for Medicare, it's a really big deal. For like final expense, I don't know, but for Medicare, it's a really big deal to do that kind of stuff. But it's easy. It's like, this is something like you set yourself up with like 10 minutes worth of work to pre-set it all up. And then it's something you never have to think about again. You just drop people into the thing and they get the email automatically. And it's like, so easy, like so easy.
Those are the things that, you know, if I could go back, I would have redone significantly better.
Yeah.
But we didn't know what was happening. We didn't know that it was going to be like this.
Yeah. It's not, I mean, you know, the world changed, and it changed rapidly, and it changed not in the way that we expected it to change. You know, we expected different changes, and they're not the changes that came. I didn't think email was going to be viable ever, because email seemed to be going the way of the dinosaur for everybody. Like, who used email anymore? And or Facebook for like Facebook also seemed to be like, old people are never going to use Facebook. Nobody uses Facebook but old people and insurance agents. Like, really, like I mean, Facebook's where it's at if you're selling insurance, I guess. There might be other platforms that, I don't know, but Instagram and TikTok don't really seem to be catching fire for insurance agents.
But that's what we said about Facebook.
But yeah, right.
6 years ago, right?
It's just a matter of time before somebody figures out how to create like a TikTok community around selling insurance. I'm sure it's coming. But senior citizens are overwhelmingly the demographic that is on Facebook right now. They are like, and 5 years ago, when people started like really pushing Facebook ads, that was not true. I mean, everybody was like, everybody was saying, you know, Facebook is for the young people. It's not where you could not find somebody in their mid-30s and younger on Facebook regularly to save your life. Like, I no longer have friends who I can communicate with on Facebook because they're not on Facebook.
No.
You know, like, you know, I wished a friend of mine from high school a happy birthday in February. And they responded to me like 2 weeks ago. They're like, oh, I just saw you wish me happy birthday on Facebook. I was like, geez, you really don't Facebook at all anymore. And they're like, no, not really.
You want to know another interesting stat? Going back to ads.
Sure.
Microsoft/Bing ads. Okay. Only 8% of people even use Microsoft Edge.
Sure.
Or Bing. 97% of those people are senior citizens.
Yeah, I believe that.
Because when you
Because
get a
it's
new
the
computer,
default.
it's
Right,
the
'cause it's the
default,
default
and they
search
don't
engine.
know how
Yeah.
to change it. When
And they have
anybody
to actually have a computer, because they're not doing that on their Android or iPhone. You're
No.
not getting Bing on the Android or iPhone.
no,
So they have to actually have a computer. So that's its own level of filtering, right? Like, how many senior citizens actually have a computer? And then, yeah, right, yeah, it's a whole thing.
but you can get a lot of really good responses from Microsoft,
I
and
bet.
people don't realize it.
Yeah, I bet. That makes sense.
Yeah. Once it dawned on me, I was like, that makes so much sense.
Mhm.
So I've been learning into that. But it's just I like little things like that in marketing that are
Yeah.
super cool. I what I desperately want in the final expense is I want there to be a new lead card.
That's going to be coming. That's coming. People are trying. Every lead house that I know of is experimenting with new final expense lead cards right now. It's absolutely coming. 100%. It's going to be there, and it's going to be out of the blue and out of nowhere, and it will be everywhere. I would guess 18 months from the time that we are recording this.
Yeah,
the standard lead card will be something different. It is 100% coming. I'm experimenting with a new direct mail lead that I'm going to be dropping in a couple of weeks here, just to kind of see, because a lead house that I've worked with in the past is like, hey, we want to try this stuff. We want to try this out. We're going to give you like a crazy discount. You can drop like they're giving me a bunch of money off. They're giving me basically 50% off on my drop.
take it
to try to like give them feedback. Yeah. To for them to be like, basically pay us our cost so we can determine whether or not this works. And it's a per 1,000 drop, but I don't care. It's if it returns, it returns. If it doesn't, I'm not out a whole bunch of money.
If you get a 1.3% return, then knock it out of the park.
Yeah, right. And if I get like 3 of them back, oh well. Right. And then we know, right?
But you'll still sell it.
Yeah, right? I'll still make something off of it. Yeah.
But also go back to emails. I'm sorry. I've been meaning to say this. I actually, on our lead cards, I'll put email address down, and I would say 75% come back with an email address on it.
Interesting. That's interesting.
And I don't like the problem with direct mail is it's there's no OCR scanner to actually transpose the number of the email address.
Yeah, if the info's not in the data, it's not there.
So you gotta have to manually. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like, which is why I would rather personally have a direct mail lead card that has less that the person needs to fill out. Right. I want them to fill out their name and address so I can verify that it's the right address, and I want them to put a phone number down and to verify that so that everything matches up. And I don't want anything else. I don't want to have to type in anything other than their phone number.
No, I don't want to at all.
Yeah.
But
especially not email addresses. Email addresses, especially for senior citizens, get weird.
They do.
And like unwieldy and long and like
Bob Rush 1694 Pearl Harbor at yahoo.com.
At AOL.com, man.
AOL, yeah. But what I'm trying to say is a lot of things are changing. A lot of things have changed.
Brave new world.
Final expenses. It's not taken a downturn, but I've seen it like this, and I think it's going to be like this in the next 6 to 12 months.
I think it's going to be a lot less popular with agents. I think there are going to be a lot fewer people selling it. I don't think the market is going to change. I think the competition from new agents coming into the market, the new hotness is Medicare. People want to recruit the Medicare agents.
No, the new hotness right now is ACA.
Oh God. Yeah, don't even get me started.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
But if you are a final expense agent, please do not worry about selling ACA. You don't talk to ACA eligible people. That's it.
You talk to final expense eligible people and Medicare eligible people.
I will tell you. I get 25 leads a week. I run 12 to 18 appointments a week. I spent 2 years asking everybody about their healthcare in a generic way. I found 4 ACA prospects in 2 years.
Right.
It's not like, I mean, yeah, you can do the stuff, you throw a link on Facebook and hope people click it, and then they make you their agent sort of accidentally while you sign them up through like HealthSherpa or whatever, and you get passive money. And I don't know, man, it's not that hard to do ACA. It's not like it's a lot of work or certifications or you have to pass anything arduous. But like, seriously, it's not. I don't think it's worth your time. And you don't want to start chasing a whole bunch of other businesses. The reason why Medicare and final expense work well together, and why I never recommend anybody sells mortgage protection, even though, hey, it's all life insurance, is because that's not the same prospect. You want to be always working with one type of prospect. Pick your prospect. If you want to sell ACA, go sell mortgage protection. And you can sell ACA and mortgage protection together. They go very nicely together. But or just sell ACA. I don't know. I mean, like, you do what you want.
You get. I've seen people very happy on just ACA.
Yeah, sure.
But it's a new shiny object syndrome for a lot of agents.
Yeah, it's not like, and everything comes with a learning curve, and everything comes with its own set of problems, and there is no magic bullet, and there is nothing that's perfect. And I'm like, pick a thing and stick with it.
Yeah.
We're at about an hour already, so I don't want to go off into a separate rant about like agents not picking one thing and sticking with it, but I've got a lot to say about that, and we can maybe make that our next video.
That'd be a good one. Do you want to hear Nick rant for 45 minutes about not sticking with one thing? Put it in the comments below.
Just pick a thing, man. Just pick a thing. I don't even care what thing you pick. Just pick a thing. Pick one thing and do that thing until you've decided that you are done doing that thing, because you've done it as much as you can. Anyway, whole video is worth of content on that.
Marcus, can you put him on a soapbox while he just said that thing? Just edit a soapbox in and then put him back down. We'll see how good Marcus really is when he actually edits the video.
Yeah.
Well,
I think we should bump this one to the front of the line and see if this can be the first one that Marcus puts out, and we'll be putting out other things that we recorded in the past.
Oh, we didn't get to talk about it on Facebook, or we talk on Facebook.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, there's not a couple 30-something-year-olds who are on Facebook all the time. Me and you are 30-something.
Yeah, I know. But because we're in insurance and it's different.
Yeah,
this is I Facebook for work.
Okay, true.
Right.
But we talked about a Discord. I think we should just have a Discord that anybody can join if they want.
Just an insurance panel Discord server. I think it would be a thing. I think it could be good.
I think it'd be a good thing, and I think we could just you could randomly just jump on there.
Yeah.
And let people know, and like announce it, be like, hey, on Saturday morning or whatever time we can find, right?
Realistically, I'd probably hang out on there all the time. Like, I probably would. I would probably be there like all the time. And like Discord, you can do voice stuff, and like there's interesting things you can do with with Discord. Like, I mean, we could do some interesting stuff.
Yeah, I think I have Discord open right now for my gaming.
Right.
But I'll work on making a channel for us. Or something like that. Yeah.
I think there's some interesting things that we could do with Discord, and it could be good, especially if we get kind of a critical mass of people, so that it's sort of there's always a couple of people on there talking.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Be interesting.
Just look out for the Discord in the description of this video.
Yeah.
And if you want it, hit us with your Discord name or comment below your Discord name, and we'll add you. Awesome. Cool. Awesome stuff. This was good, man. Nick Frumpkin, always a pleasure. Every time. Even though we've never technically met in person. Yeah. We've only you were in how far away is Allentown? Hour and a half from where you were. You could have drove. I actually had stuff I was doing there though. You're like, screw you, I made appointments. I Chris Smith showed up and I'm like, hey, it's Chris Smith. You're like, well, fuck you. I'm in Allentown. That's basically what you said. Yeah, you were like, I'm not gonna So Matt texted me and he was like, hey, I'm free. Matt texted me and I was like, okay, I'm not free tomorrow, but I'm free Thursday. And he was like,
I can't do, or maybe it was tomorrow, whatever.
Yeah, I was like, Thursday's the day that I'm actually doing the thing.
Yeah.
And it's at night. And
so I was like, I have free time Thursday. I'll come, we'll meet up, we'll get a drink, I'll take you to dinner or whatever. And he was like, I cannot do Thursday. And I was like, well, I've got plans like tonight and tomorrow night already. I can't like just like cancel on folks. And he was like, well, it's not going to happen on Thursday. And then I leave like first thing in the morning on Friday morning. And I was like, well, okay, well, I guess it's not going to happen. Here's some recommendations. This is what I would do if I was, hanging out with you. And he was like, all right, great. That sounds awesome. And then he texts me Thursday night. Like I set appointments for myself. I was working. And so I'm like an hour and a half to 2 hours away at that time of day with traffic. I was an easy 2 hours away. And he's like, hey, Christmas here, we're all hanging out, come get a drink. I'm like, fuck you guys. So
I did not expect Chris to show up. He just showed up.
Oh.
And he quoted the movie from American Gangster. He goes, you ever watch American Gangster? I was like, are you about to shoot me? he was like no, it was like, don't ever go into my city without permission or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you live in Maryland, Chris.
I know.
Not your city.
Super not his city anymore. I don't know that he gets to claim that anymore.
Yeah, see?
And he still works here a little bit, but not even as much as he used to.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Jokes on you, Chris. All right.
He's an Orioles fan now or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So anyway.
Hey,
always
good talking to you, buddy. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Like, comment, subscribe.